जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna and thank you for joining. And today we are going to discuss verse number 30 of chapter number 1 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. And in the previous verse, we saw that Arjuna is describing his further symptoms. And those symptoms were his whole body was trembling and his hair was standing on the end, and his Gandiva bow is even sleeping, and his skin is burning. So all these symptoms are manifested because Arjuna is seeing his relative in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and his heart is overwhelmed with the feeling of compassion. So these three verses, verse 28, 29, and today's verse 30, these are the three verses in which Arjuna gives the first reason why he doesn't want to fight, and that is the reason is compassion. He is feeling compassionate for his relatives. So in this verse, today's verse is describing his further symptoms, and he is saying that I am only see the cause of misfortune by fighting this war. So why should I even fight this war? So let's read the verse first of all and then discuss these points in the purport. Nacha shakyomi avasthatum brahmateva cha me manaha nimittani cha pashyami viparitani keshava. So here important words are there. Brahmati is forgetting. Brahmati eva is forgetting. He is forgetting what? So let's read the translation and then we'll discuss more. I am now unable to stand here any longer. So this compassion, and which has been now manifested through Arjuna's bodily symptom, it has covered him so much that he is unable to stand there. He is the greatest warrior existing during that time. But because of these weaknesses which has covered his mind, he is now unable to stand here any longer. And he's saying, I am forgetting myself and my mind is reeling. Reeling means chakrana. So I only see the cause of misfortune. O Krishna, killer of Kasi demon. So Arjuna is first explaining his bodily symptom, and then he's saying that whatever I am seeing here is all unauspiciousness and is basically misfortune, and it's the disaster or a tragedy is awaiting. So all these omens, what is going to happen, these are the signs. These are sometimes we see the involuntary movements happen in the bodily part, and that is an indication of inauspiciousness, right? And sometimes we have heard that right part of the body is twitching, so or some kind of eye twitching, so those are kind of signs that something inauspiciousness is awaiting for us. And there are sometimes cosmological symptoms also. Sometimes we see uh, that people who are in knowledge, people who understand these signs, they can see that the cosmos is giving us indication, because in this cosmos actually everything is connected and things work together and give us um, the indication of the reaction for our karmic actions. So the omens can be generally seen through the topographically or physiologically, or you can also see through the environment. So topographically means the birds, like the owls are howling, dogs are crying, etc. And then sometimes we can see the effects on our body, like physiological effect on your body, the body trembling. So these are all kind of inauspicious sign. And sometimes environment also give us the signs of bad omens, like dark clouds and thunders and all these things. So Arjuna is seeing all these things, and By seeing this, he is seeing only cause of misfortune. And when we are going to discuss it, that Arjuna is only seeing, in today's term, we can say that Arjuna is only seeing lose-lose situation, right? So we have to rise above it, and we'll discuss that point, that how we are going to rise above it. But sometimes, when things happen, at that point of time, we don't understand why things are happening, and sometimes it doesn't make sense to us. So does it mean that it doesn't have sense? So it is possible that it may not have sense, but most of the times, when the things are happening in our life, we don't understand why we are put into this kind of situations, and it's beyond our level of understanding. So at that time, as Arjuna is going to do later, he's going to surrender unto Krishna, and then he's going to take shelter of Guru and Krishna. Basically, over here, Krishna is his Guru, but for us, we take shelter of Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. So this is how we overcome all this kind of misfortunes that happens in our life. So the point that's to be discussed over here is what his outer enemy, Arjuna's outer enemy, couldn't do it for him. The inner enemy of the attachment is actually doing him, and that is causing, his mind is getting reeled, and he's getting showing these symptoms through his body. Further, Arjuna is using a word over here, that is nimittani cha pashyami. So nimitta, so Prabhupada translate nimitta as cause, right? So nimitta can be cause or purpose, or in the 11th chapter we'll see that nimitta word is used, and that word means instrument over there. So in Sanskrit, one word can have multiple meanings. So depending on the context, the meaning changes. So here the nimitta means purpose or cause. So normally when we do any activity, we have a purpose, or we must have a purpose. So as Dr. Stephen Covey says in his 7 habits, like, begin with the end in mind. So when you begin any task, you need to know why you are doing that particular task, or what is the purpose of doing that type, and what is the benefit I'm going to get by doing that task. So for example, if there's a businessman and he runs the business, so what is the purpose of running the business? The purpose is to make profit. Similarly, when a student is studying, what is the purpose? The purpose is to get a good education and get a degree, right? But if somebody says that you study but you won't get a degree, so then the purpose, this studying becomes kind of meaningless for that student, right? So in essence, we see that whenever we do any activity, it has to have, or it must have, a purpose. So over here, Arjuna is saying that I don't see any purpose for this war, right? I don't see any benefit that is going to come by fighting this war. And then even he is saying that my heart is not even there in this war. So why should I even fight this war? So he is using this term nimityani cha pashyami. So until now, when we have encountered this word Pashya many times, last 5-6 times in the 5-6 verses, we have every verse has this word Pashyami. So until now, the meaning of the word when Pashya was used, it to literally see, right? Because Arjuna could see his relatives. So that meaning of the word Pashya over there was literally seeing his relatives and friends. But here the word Pashya is used in a kind of figurative sense. So meaning that we are seeing through our intelligence. So when somebody is making a point, we say, oh, I see what you're saying, So the meaning is, when we are seeing the person, but actually we are trying to see the point that person is trying to make. So that's why we use the term, I see what you're saying. We literally don't see actually. So here also Arjuna is saying that he doesn't see any reason. He doesn't know what is, or he doesn't have any understanding of the purpose behind this war. So he is not seeing any purpose behind fighting this verse. So then he's talking to Arjuna, so he's using the word Keshava. So he's saying, "Oh Keshava." Keshava means one who has killed the demon Keshi, because Krishna killed the demon Keshi. So he's calling Arjuna is calling Krishna as, "Oh Keshava, you please, just like you killed the demon Keshi, you kill the demon of my doubt, my disturbance which is going inside my mind, or the ignorance which I am experiencing. So which is, all these things are actually flooding my heart. So you are Keshi, you are Keshava who killed the demon Keshi. So now you help me to kill the doubts. These are like demons which are sitting in my heart." So in fact, Arjuna is saying that not only I am not seeing the purpose, but he is saying that I am actually seeing completely opposite. So he is using this word vipiratani. Vipiratani means it is opposite. So he is not only seeing the purpose, but he is seeing the opposite. So every possibility Arjuna is evaluating is going to be exact opposite of what he thought before the war was going to happen. So now when he's in the battlefield, he's thinking, that all these relatives are here, I'm going to fight with them, and then I'm going to kill them. Then how am I going to enjoy? With whom am I going to enjoy? So that's why he is saying that there is no purpose, there is no reason of fighting this particular war. So let's see what Srila Prabhupada has to discuss in the purport of this particular verse. And Prabhupada says, in the first part, he is saying that Arjuna's further symptoms. So Prabhupada writes over here, due to his impatience, right? He is experiencing this, all whatever is experiencing in his mind, that is now making him impatient. Arjuna was unable to stay on the battlefield, and he was forgetting himself on account of this weakness of mind. So this is Prabhupada is describing whatever Arjuna is experiencing as weakness of mind. Because when the mind experiences all this, when the emotions, actually we discussed this point in the earlier classes, when the emotion, this kind of strong emotion actually covers the mind, then a person is unable to think. His senses starts shaking, and doesn't know what to do. So then Prabhupada gives what is the reason for these symptoms. So excessive attachment. This is what we discussed in the previous session, that because Arjuna is using the word swajana. Swajana means they are my people. So because of this excessive attachment or bodily attachment, of what Prabhupada is saying, excessive attachment for material things puts a man in such bewildering condition of existence. Right? So when man starts thinking only in terms of body, or we discussed this point also in the previous session, that is material conception of life. So when man is started only thinking in terms of material conception of life, meaning I am this body and everything connected to me is mine, right? Then this kind of reactions happens in the bodily features. And then Prabhupada gives a verse, quotes this from a scripture. So this is a way normally the scriptures are written, that whatever points are discussed, it is discussed on the basis of these scriptural verses, other scriptural verses. So here there is a verse, SB means Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 2nd chapter, verse number 37. The reference of this verse is given here by Srila Prabhupada. So let's see what this verse is. So this verse you can find in this, the link is called as Veda Base, and you can search by putting the word SB means Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 2nd chapter, 37th verse. This is how you can find these verses. So this is the verse. This verse says that, in the translation, I'll read the translation. Fear arises when a living entity misidentifies himself as a material body. because of the absorption in the external illusory energy of the Lord. So this world, or whatever we are saying in the things around us, the material nature which we or the earth in which we are there, whatever we see is controlled by the illusory energy or the Maya Shakti of the Lord. So when we identify ourselves as the body and not as the soul, then actually this causes fear, this causes anxiety. So that's why this particular verse says that fear arises when the living entity misidentifies himself as the material body because of the absorption of the external illusory energy of the Lord. When the living entity thus turns away from the Supreme Lord, he also forgets his own constitutional position as the servant of the Lord. So this point we have discussed many times, that originally we are in the spiritual world and we wanted to enjoy separate from Krishna. So that's why Krishna sends us to this material world. So this point is being made over here, that when the living entity thus turns away from the Supreme Lord, so he was originally with the Supreme Lord, but he turns away, means he doesn't want to stay with the Lord. So then what Krishna does, he also forgets his constitutional position as the servant of the Lord. So Krishna makes him forget his original position. Because why the living entity wants to be separate from Krishna? Because he wants to enjoy separate from Krishna. So unless he forgets that, then he will not be able to enjoy. So Krishna gives us the opportunity. Okay, you want to enjoy separate from me? Then you go to the material world and enjoy. And then he makes us forget. This is bewildering. Fearful condition is affected by the potency of the for illusion called as Maya. So Maya acts upon us and it acts on our mind and it makes us fearful. Then how to come out? Therefore, an intelligent person should engage unflinchingly in the unallowed devotional service of the Lord under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. So when the living entity thus understands that no, I am not belonging to this place, I have to get out of this cycle of birth and death, then he accepts a spiritual master, whom he should accept as his worshipable deity and his very life and soul. So under the guidance of a spiritual master, he should submit himself and then learn this science. So this is what is the reference Srila Prabhupada is giving here, right? That such fearfulness and loss of mental equilibrium takes place in a person who are too affected by material conditions. So those who are affected by material conditions, or those who are in the material world, are experiencing this fear, and that is because of the Maya energy of the Lord. So this is the reason why Arjuna is also experiencing. So Arjuna is experiencing because Krishna wants to teach us a lesson. So he uses Arjuna to teach all the living entity a lesson through Bhagavad Gita. So that's why Krishna is covering the consciousness of, or the pure consciousness of Arjuna. And then Arjuna forgets everything. And then he starts acting like a normal person in the material world, like people like us, he's acting like that. Now, in the next point, Prabhupada says, Arjuna envisions only causes of misfortunes. So because of all these things going on in his mind, Arjuna envisions only painful reverses in the battlefield. He would not be happy even by gaining victory over the foes. Because if he wins, that means the other side have to get defeated and killed. So with whom he is going to enjoy? So this is the point he is going to discuss in the next verse. Arjuna is going to discuss this point of enjoyment in the upcoming verses, right? And he's saying is nimittani viparitani. The word nimittani viparitani are significant. When a man sees only frustration in his expectation, he thinks, why am I here? Everyone is interested in himself and his own welfare. No one is interested in the Supreme Self. Arjuna is showing ignorance of his real self-interest by Krishna's will. So we discussed this point earlier, that he is seeing that no matter what he does, he is not going to be happy. And Prabhupada puts over here a point that people in this world, they are only interested in themselves. They are not interested in the Supreme Lord, because they want to enjoy in this material world, and in order to enjoy in this material world, they want to forget Krishna, because otherwise, if you want to serve Krishna, then you cannot enjoy us through your senses. So people are not interested in self. They are only showing us a sign of ignorance, and they are not showing the self-interest, which is actually executing Krishna's will. So then that has been discussed in the last part, that what is one's real self-interest. So one's real self-interest lies in Vishnu or Krishna. The conditioned soul forgets this, right, and therefore suffers material pains. So when we forget that our real interest is actually Krishna, serving Krishna, our real interest is not to enjoy in this material world, in the material body. Because when we want to do that, if we want to enjoy in the material world with material body, then all these other things which is a part of material world is designed in this way that it will bring us all this kind of lamentations and hankering and all these kinds of anxieties in our life. So our real interest lies in Lord Shri Krishna and serving him. The conditioned soul forgets this and therefore suffers material pains. Arjuna thought that his victory in the battle would only be a cause of lamentation for him. So Arjuna thought like that. That's why when he sees his relative, just by thinking that I'll not be able to enjoy because my relatives will die, so then all these symptoms are getting manifested in this body. So this is a point which we have discussed, that whatever his outer enemies couldn't do, his inner enemy of attachment did it. And then he forgot everything. In a moment's time, he forgot everything and whatever he has studied in scriptures. And then he starts acting like this. So this is the summary of what we read in the purport. I'm not going to go over it. It's already discussed. But one point is, we need to understand that Arjuna's symptom, whatever he's showing here, is actually by Krishna's will, because Krishna wants this to happen to Arjuna so that he can speak Bhagavad Gita. So that's why he is forgetting himself, and then the rest of the things follow. Right? So these are the symptoms which we covered in the last 3 verses, 28, 29 and 30. So his limbs are quivering, his mouth is drying up, his whole body is trembling, hairs of the body standing on the hands, using his Gandiva bow is slipping from his hand, his skin is burning, and his legs are unable to stand. He's due to impatience. And then he's forgetting himself, and his mind is reeling due to weakness of heart. This happens due to weakness of heart. And he only sees cause of misfortune. So this war is going to bring him misfortune. So this is the first reason, as we were discussing in the earlier sessions, that Arjuna gives 5 reasons why he shouldn't fight. So verse 27, 28 and actually 27, 28 and up to here also, we can see this is the reason which has been given by Arjuna, that is compassion. He is about to slay his relatives, and that actually overwhelms and his heart, and he's put his Gandiva bow down, and he's going to discuss further that the reason for enjoyment, that is the second reason is enjoyment, verse 31 to 35, and in chapter 2 verse 7 and 8 he's going to give the reason of enjoyment. He will not be able to enjoy his kingdom if he wins, and if he loses he's going to die anyway. So this is the reason, second reason which he gives. So we'll discuss this reason in the next sessions. Thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Gaur Premanande Hari Bol.